Hi there, I'm Melissa Ralph, and I am a teacher at Islander Middle School. I teach pre-algebra and algebra, and welcome to Curriculum Night 2021. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to watch the video and learn a little bit about what your student is doing here while taking math, as well as a little bit about me. Start with, this is my 28th year with the Mershon School District. I moved here in 1993, so I've now lived about half my life in California and half my life here. I grew up in Southern California, Pasadena, California, where the Rose Bowl is. I went to college at the University of Southern California. I got both my undergraduate and graduate degrees there. And then when I came in 1993, I had the great opportunity to teach at Island Park, where I was an elementary, second and third grade teacher, as well as the special education lead. And then I moved to Lake Ridge after my daughter was born, and then eventually came here to Islander, where I have been ever since. I have two children of my own, Lauren and Austin, and I have two Weimaraners as well. And my kids are now, having gone through the Mershon School District from kindergarten through 12th grade, are now almost 22 and almost 26. So grown and gone for now. So a little bit about my teaching philosophy, whether it's in a pre-algebra class or an algebra class, or even in just an elementary classroom. I really want my students to be successful, yet challenged, to learn and grow while mastering concepts of mathematics and to gain that confidence while they're learning. So I really am going to be encouraging your students to gain confidence and get over a couple obstacles they may face. I want students to build solid study habits. We're going to be taking notes this year. I want them to be using those notes. I want them to practice at home, whether it's required or not. I want them to learn some critical thinking skills, logical reasoning skills, because all of that's applicable beyond just our class, right? We want to think about what they can apply into other disciplines. Most importantly, I want my students to know I care. So building those connections is really important to me. The students that are now here every day know that they can reach out to me on Schoology. They can set up a meeting with me. They can talk to me after class, at lunch, before school. So I really want to learn more about your student, not just about their math ability, but who they are as a person. So mathematics and Common Core. Oftentimes people say, what are you teaching or what are the contents? So Washington State a few years ago adopted the Common Core standards for math instruction assessment, and you can look those up. Just hit Common Core on Google. There are specific content standards for pre-algebra and algebra. They can look a little general when you look at it, but I can go over those. You can look at the pre-algebra ones on the expectation sheet that went home. But there are also 8 mathematical practices that are part of the Common Core standards. So while we have content, so equations and expressions or functions, we have these mathematical practices that are just as important and essential. And so we look at all 8 of those, but I wanted to just point out 3 of them: making sense of problems and persevering in solving them. So perseverance is huge in our classes. Sometimes the students will want to give up or look at a key or find the answer, but I will use the words productive struggle in my classroom. I really want the kids to struggle, and it's productive because we learn from that and we move forward. Attending to precision is about accuracy, labeling. Those are things we'll focus on as well. And then look for and make use of structure is a huge focus for both 8th grade, which is the pre-algebra, and then the 9th grade algebra course. We're looking for patterns. We're looking to make sense as we move from one type of function to another. What does that look like graphically? What does it look like algebraically? What does it look like verbally and using the words? So a few important things to know for this year without getting into real specifics. So communication and Schoology. Student communication, that is where we can communicate quite frequently. There's a message, I would say an envelope in that corner. I might send all students a group message to a group for our course, but I also might send them a specific message. They can also message me directly. That is a huge tool. Even though we're back in person, we want to use that messaging. They might have a question for me at night. They can send me a message and then I can touch base with them in the morning. They might have a question about an assignment, a question about something else. So I really encourage them to use Schoology as well as a way to communicate with one another. So both my algebra and my pre-algebra classes have the ability to post questions to their peers in the classes. They have the ability to post comments to support, to give feedback. And so we really want them to do that as well. As far as parent communication, email is the best way to reach me. And then, give me at least 24 hours to get back to you, maybe a little bit longer if it's a message on a weekend. But please do not hesitate to reach out to me via email. The phone system's a little bit more challenging, but I will definitely get back to you, and we can have phone calls. We can also meet in person. So for Skyward, Skyward grades and codes might be different depending upon the class and the teacher your child's in this year. For me, I'm still using traditional letter grades for both the courses. So that's what you will see, although depending upon which course, it might look a little bit different as far as the categories. So please refer to those expectation sheets that went home earlier this year. Every student has that taped into their notebook. So it's taped on a page right toward the beginning. I want to say page 1, so that they can refer to the specifics about grading, but that you can look at that as well. Codes on Skyward are important because that's where I might not penalize a late assignment, but I want you to know if it was late. If something is missing, I will put in a code that says missing. And while a student might say they've turned it in, feel free to double check with me. I will usually remove the missing code, but I know that's one of the best ways I can communicate to you all at home on what's being turned in, what's happening. If something has been redone, I'll put a code in for that if I want something to be redone. So look for the codes in addition to just the grades, and know that it's early in the year and not many things are in the grade book yet. So give it some time for things to get in there and balance out. And again, don't hesitate to reach out and encourage your student to do so as well. If you haven't yet seen an interactive student notebook, this is mine for one of my courses. Your student should have a composition book that is their student notebook, and that's unique to them. They would all look the same, and we'll grab the wrong ones. So students have been individualizing them. But the ISN, as we refer to it, is really their one piece of important math, I would say, like their math book. It has to come to school every day. I want them to have it at home every day. We'll be taking notes. It's organized with a table of contents. There's vocabulary in the back. Their notes are in there. They can support one another if we've already had absences, and students have been able to take photos of other people's notes and being able to copy those down. Students can reach out to me and they can look at I'll keep one as well. They can look at my notebook. But I want them to consider it an interactive notebook. Use it to help complete homework. Use it as a means to help them study. All of their homework assignments are listed in the table of contents to tie together to what was taught, so they can refer to which homework assignments as well while they're studying. I'm going to be collecting them and giving them feedback and letting them, improve on that, or areas that I really think they're doing great in, so that as they move on to higher courses and later in high school and future years, they see the relevance in taking notes, and they see the importance of taking notes and adding their own details or adding their own information. And then we'll practice in that ISN notebook as well. And then the textbooks. So for pre-algebra, we use EdGems. And those students, so in that class, have a textbook, will also be signing in online, and they'll be able to access activities that we'll do through EdGems online. For algebra, we are still using a Pearson textbook, which the students, when this video is shown, should have their textbooks at that point in time, but we no longer have an e-text available to us as of last year. So the textbook will be a support, but I'll make sure that I have everything else that they need as far as the notes and the topics and assignments. So they not necessarily need the book, but I know a lot of them like to have the book. So that's just a little bit to sort of get us started for the year. And please don't hesitate to reach out and encourage your student to reach out. Let them know I am here for them and that I want to see them successful. I want to see them do well. And I really want to know more about them as a person. So that is it for this right now. Thanks again for watching.